with Vince. That is me. Hello. Welcome everyone to our third PPC session with me, Vince Montero. I'm the ads product manager here at Helium 10. Ads is our PPC management tool. And each week I'll be going over a different feature of either ads or a feature of PPC in general, and then answering your questions about that. So I'm going to wait like a minute more to let additional people sign in to today's session. I will be having to cut today's session to 10:50. And unfortunately, I do have a webinar that I'm doing with Amazon at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Pacific time here. So if you guys can't get enough of me, then sign up for that webinar. The links are everywhere on social media, on all of our pages. It's going to be a great webinar with Amazon advertising, and we're going to be going over holiday preparedness, which is obviously a very timely topic to be had right now. So you can see on your screen right now, the link for that webinar today at 11 is helium10.com/Amazon-holiday. So again, for the people that are just joining, that's why we're just going to go to 10:50 today versus my usual hour or an hour and a half in some cases that we've done. So, all right, it's 10:03. So I'm hoping that most of you are here. I'm just going to go through a feature. The feature I've chosen this week is our editable rules feature. It's still a fairly new feature, actually just under a month. People have a lot of questions about it still, so I thought I would go over that again for you guys to see what those editable rules look like, what they do, and then we will open it up to questions. So feel free to leave your questions in the comments from wherever you're logged in, whether it be LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Hoping to see lots of those icons in the comment section. And then as soon as I'm done with the feature overview, then I'm going to start answering some of those questions as they come up. So let's get started at the dashboard of Helium 10 ads. Again, this is just the main screen. When you come in, I like to just start from here so you guys can follow along with where I'm going. And the editable rules are in the ad manager section of ads. So the first thing that you'll see is all of your campaign data, depending on what kind of account that you have. And what you can do is you can actually configure or automate those campaigns now, whereas you couldn't before. When you made campaigns in ads, what you would see here is or if you made the campaigns in ads, what you would see here is a reset function, and that is a little arrow on the right-hand side that would indicate what campaigns, if you have at all, that were actually made in ads. We actually went over that reset feature in our very, very first session because that was brand new at that time. So as you can see here in this particular account, there is no reset button because none of these campaigns have been configured. So that's what we're going to go over right now. So when I mean configure, basically what I'm saying is when you create campaigns in ads, you basically create a campaign structure or a campaign flow that we then use to dictate the search terms, our search term rules to look for negative search terms for you to turn to negative keywords, or we look for search terms that are performing well. And we will then promote those instead of just being a search term, we'll actually promote those as a keyword into a campaign. So that's what I mean when I say create a campaign flow or a campaign structure. It's very similar to what you see here in a campaign builder. If you do create a campaign in ads currently, you're going to create 3 campaigns at once for sponsored products. Sponsored brands is just 1 campaign, but we're going to go over sponsored products. So for sponsored products, you're going to create an auto campaign, a research, and a proven. Auto campaign, you guys should know what that means. Basically, you're letting Amazon do the job of finding the search terms and ASINs, which they will do for you to target your product. And then the research campaign is called this because this is the campaign we use broad-based keywords. Broad-based keywords get search terms. So we're basically using those broad keywords as a way to get more search terms from Amazon as well. So in the auto campaign search terms, again, that perform well, we're going to then suggest them to go from that auto campaign as a search term into a keyword in that research campaign. And that's going to be a broad-based keyword campaign suggestion. The same thing with the research campaign. We're going to look through those search terms because, again, these are broad keywords. You're going to get a lot of search terms. We're going to find those search terms that have done well and then, again, promote them into what we call our proven campaign. And our proven campaign is exact match keywords that go into here. So the goal is to create a flow between the starting campaign, or even from this being the starting campaign, we could find search terms here that were not actually moved. But by the time it gets to the third campaign, the keywords have proven themselves. And that's why we call it a proven campaign, and that is exact match. So when I talk about creating a campaign structure for your campaigns, that what I mean is the campaigns that you have outside of ads. You did not build them in ads. So you previously weren't taking advantage of any of that campaign structure flow, right? So what we did add was the ability to create a configuration where you can then create that campaign structure flow. So I'm going to go ahead and actually look for one as an example. So what I'm looking for at the beginning here is an auto campaign, because like I said in our campaign builder, what we like to start with and what I suggest you start with is an auto campaign at the top and then work your way down. So whenever you click on a campaign that's in your ad manager, that's going to be the campaign that's top. So make sure that that is the campaign that you want to then use in your configuration. You're going to enter some data points here, just as you would if you were creating a campaign in ads. You're going to select an ad group. You're going to select an ACoS target. This is a brand new structure, so I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with the ACoS target. And then you set your threshold clicks and your threshold costs. I won't go into detail on these unless you guys ask, because I've gone over these rules quite a few times, and these are all also in the pro trainings. But basically, you're going to add rules for your threshold clicks and your threshold cost. I'm going to do 10 clicks. I'm going to do, let's say it's a $40 product, so I'm going to do half of that at 20. I'm going to leave automation on because this is a brand new structure. So at this point, what I've done is added negative keywords to this one campaign. So if you wanted to do that, you could add just negative keywords to any existing campaign that you have. That means we're going to look through the search terms. We're going to find those search terms that are set to these parameters. In this case, over 10 clicks and no sales, or maybe $20 spent and no sales. We're going to suggest that to be made as a negative for you. So I could click the save. I could save changes here, make this just a negative ruled campaign, and that would be it. Unfortunately, that would also mean that this particular auto campaign is now out of the loop. I wouldn't be able to use it again for a particular campaign structure. So what I'm going to go through next is how to add the additional campaigns into this campaign flow. But before we do that, let's answer just a couple of questions so we don't get too far behind. So let's answer Carlos's question first. Carlos asks, what is more relevant in our campaigns, the results from 7, 30, or 60? All. All of those dates are important, Carlos. If it's a brand new campaign, I would suggest not 7 days, I would suggest 2 weeks, because you really need time to get the data. If you're doing regular optimizations on more established campaigns, then yeah, once a week is fine. But you still need to look at your 30-day data once a month, and you still need to look at your 60 data every 2 months. Looking at your data historically, you're going to see a bigger view of your data, and you're going to see things that you might not have seen if you were just looking at 7 days at a time. I actually have a blog post about this exact topic. So if you go into our blog and look for my name, you'll see an article there about taking an expanded view of your PPC optimizations, and you can get more details there. Let's see. Carlos also asked, should I add a negative keyword in my broad campaign, the keywords I have for my exact campaign? So what you're asking, Carlos, is about search term isolation. So that's basically making the keyword negative when you move it out of the broad into the exact. I wouldn't do that, because that broad keyword is getting you different search terms. One of those search term variations to that broad keyword is probably what got you the sale. So I would suggest that you move or make that search term an exact, but I would leave the broad keyword in there so that you can get more search terms to it. That's the whole point of a broad keyword, is to get potential search term variations that might convert for you. Okay, guys, more of you need to ask questions. This isn't the Carlos show. So Carlos Rivera asks, you always mention that you don't recommend add more than 10, 20 keywords for campaigns. Should we do the same with ASINs in our product targeting campaigns? Yeah, it's all about search volume. So when you're creating campaigns, and you look at structures, which there's also a great, in our blog post, there's a great article by Mina Elias on campaign structures, if you guys want to check that one out. You basically, the rule is basically, you're not that confused, Carlos, not based on these questions. You know what you're doing. The rule is on the search volume. So you don't want too many, you don't want low volume search or keyword phrases in the same campaign as a high search volume keyword, because then the budget's just going to go out to the high volume keywords. You're not going to get any spend on the lower impression keywords, so there's no point. You're not testing it. Same with ASINs. ASINs have the search volume too, so do definitely check that. So I hope that answers that question. Picture problems from YouTube. I am still confused how to use ads. Would be a good source video to start with. That would be our pro trainings. So all you got to do is click on the Learn button. This Learn button is available on every single page of ads. So I'm going to click on it real quick, and it might autoplay, so I apologize because it's loud and we still haven't turned that off, and I want us to. But yeah, everything's here. So all the trainings that if you want, if you don't have time to join us every Tuesday at 10, everything is here. Overview, I would say don't watch because it's a little bit old. I need to redo it. But everything else, campaign creation, if you want to learn how to create campaigns, if you want to learn how our suggestions rules work, if you want to learn how to add different multiple accounts, if you want to learn how to do optimization straight from the analytics page, definitely recommended if you're a brand new user. And then what we're talking about right now is actually in here. We're going over the ad manager, and we're doing a overview of the rules. And the rules that we're talking about today are the editable rules. So I'm going to go back to that. Oh, that means I lost that one campaign I had as an example. That's fine. I'll find it again. It's just an auto campaign. We're going to go ahead and click on that. So I'm going to go through this, then I'm going to answer more of your questions, guys. So I selected my auto campaign. I selected an ad group. I selected a high ACoS, and I do that in the campaign structure, brand new, and you guys, so I can get more details. If I put a super low ACoS in there, then ads is going to recognize that, and it's going to trim a lot more things potentially sooner than later. So those are the negative keyword rules. And if I wanted to add campaigns into that flow, meaning I want ads to find search terms from this auto campaign that have performed well, I'm going to set up those parameters here. If they've performed well, I want them to go to a different campaign. So obviously they should be the same product. So you should have an auto campaign with a product. You should have a manual keyword-based campaign with a product. I'm not going to go through all of these, but let's just pretend that these are the same. Wrist wraps. Oh, this actually does say wrist wraps. So wrist wrap campaign to wrist wrap campaign. I'm going to go ahead and select the ad group here. And again, I'm going to make an ACoS target. I'm going to be aggressive here, 60%. I could just stop there if I want. If I just said, hey, I want this one campaign to suggest keywords to this campaign, this is what we've done here. You can see the top campaign. You can see the second campaign. You can see that the keywords that are going to be suggested from that auto campaign to this campaign are broad match. If I want to add a third, which I will do because you can. So let's see. I would want, again, to do the same product again. And as you can see, the campaigns that I picked are no longer in here. So that's an important note that as soon as you select a campaign and put a rule in it, then you can no longer use it again in this structure. It's only one campaign and one ad group currently in the rule set. That will be more advanced, hopefully in the next few months. But right now it's one campaign per ad group. So we go ahead and we select an ad group out of here. And what you would want this campaign's ad group to be is exact match keywords. If you already have that running, this is what you would want, because as you can see here, keywords are going to be suggested from the second campaign to this campaign as exact match. So I'm going to set my targets here. ACoS target at 60%, and then these are the new keyword rules. And again, the new keyword rules are all about what you want to set as your parameters for ads to look at search terms to then suggest them as keywords into the next campaigns. So threshold sales, I'm going to say I want to see at least 2 sales. So if a search term is under 60% ACoS with 2 sales, I want to see that as a suggested new keyword. Now, again, if I had this ACoS target more aggressive, if I had 10% and then 2 sales, I probably wouldn't see a lot of new keyword suggestions, right? Because 10% is really, really, really conservative. So I'm being aggressive because I want to see more potential keywords from the tool, at least from the beginning. And so 2 sales, I know it's made 2 sales. It's probably a valid search term. I'm going to leave the search term isolation disabled for the reason I gave earlier. And I'm going to, again, leave automation off because this is brand new. I haven't seen the suggestions that are going to come out of this structure yet, so I'm not going to turn this on. So I won't make this active, but you can see that I've basically created a campaign structure out of existing campaigns. These campaigns were not built in ads, and it's very similar to the structure. If I were to click out and click on add campaign, again, it was that campaign form, very, very similar structure. So we're basically, ads is allowing you to create the same kind of rule sets that you would do or have made if you made the campaign in ads, but we're letting you apply that for your campaigns not made in ads. So if I were to save this, it would immediately actually, suggestions come, every day, every 24 hours. There's a timestamp on the suggestions page. Then I would immediately start seeing, as soon as tomorrow, suggestions for negative and for new keywords from this campaign structure. So if you go for a while, let's say you go for a few weeks to a month, this is a newer structure, like I said, and I'm being aggressive with my targets. You could always come back after you've done your initial data collection, which is the whole point of brand new PPC campaigns. Once you've done that initial data collection, once you've whittled down, your search terms and your keywords and reduced your bids using ads, using our suggestions, or going through and optimizing manually, then you can come back here. You can change the ACoS targets, right? So you're not stuck. You are no longer locked in with a campaign structure in ads, whether you made the campaigns in ads or whether you bring the campaigns, their existing campaigns that you uploaded into ads. You can create the structures. You can come back at any time. You can edit the structures. You can edit the ACoS targets. You can edit the rules regarding the new keywords and negative keyword rules. So this page is always available for you to come back and make changes. If you make a mistake, then and you don't want these campaigns to be in this order anymore, the only way to do that is our reset, our reset button, our reset feature, and that is the what we went over the first time. And it would be this little blue icon right here that would allow you to reset that campaign. All right, so let's get back to some of the questions. We've got 30 minutes on the clock. Jose asks, does Amazon know the IP from where the user logged to ads by H10? I'm managing multiple accounts. I'm going to say Amazon accounts, okay, and I don't want my clients to have problems, so do I need a VPN with ads? Whoa, Jose, you're overthinking all of that. You don't need to do, the only thing you need to do is make sure that you're a user on those accounts. So as long as you use our workaround, which it's in our blog posts. Let's see this account. Let me log out of here. Let me log into me. So this is actually my account, and as you can see in ads, I have access to multiple campaigns and accounts, different regions, different accounts. That is all set out in the workaround feature, which again, there is a video for it. There's also a blog post in our tutorial about it, but there is a video about it right here, how to manage multiple PPC accounts in one ad account. So go there, check that out. You won't have any issues or problems with using a VPN, or no need to at that point as well. All right, next question. Connie says, I just launched. I'm on day 5. Was having an issue creating campaigns and ads, so did it in Seller Central. Is there a way to move those campaigns into ads now that the issue has been resolved? Yeah, I just showed you. Just go to the campaign, click on the configure button. I know we're behind in some of these questions, so we're going to be, answer questions, and we go back and I answer them because you guys asked before I probably stated that. So Connie, first, let me know why you were having an issue with creating campaigns. That's something that we would want to have a ticket on our support team. So make sure that you did put that through. But yeah, if you guys ever just want to create one campaign, for example, you saw our campaign builder makes you create 3 campaigns at once. For example, I suggest you create brand keyword campaigns. That's just one campaign. So one campaign with your ASINs, with your brand related keywords. You should do that in Seller Central, and then maintain that. Product targeting campaigns, for right now, we still can't create those in our campaign builder. So product targeting campaigns, definitely still something you want to build in Seller Central. But you can definitely use ads by using that configure setting to move campaign. You're not moving the campaign into ads, you're moving it into a configuration. All of your campaigns, if you get them in Seller Central, you'll see them in ads within a day. So there's no need to move anything for that. Hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. Estebani asks, I have seen low volume keywords don't perform as good as high volume keywords. Yes. Is this because when more buyers there are, the better PPC is? You kind of answer it yourself, Estebani. Low volume means not a lot of people are looking for those keywords, right? So you're not going to get as many sales out of those because not a lot of people are using those keywords. Versus high volume keywords, which means a lot of people are looking for those keywords or search terms. So that's going to mean increased sales. So this will change as we get more and more shoppers, especially in the holiday seasons coming up, which again, I'm going over at 11 o'clock in my webinar with Amazon about holiday readiness. So if you guys have not or are able to or have not signed up for that, make sure to go to helium10.com/AMZ-holiday. So I'll be talking about, and Amazon will be talking about some of the things to expect over the holiday season in the next couple of months. And definitely an increased traffic is one of them. So you will, even some of those lower search volume keywords that you see right now, Estebani actually might change. It actually might become higher volume keywords over the next 30 to 60 days. All right, Louise asks, what does it mean if there's nothing in suggestions? My campaign is at least 3 weeks old. It depends on your settings. If you were too aggressive, Lewis, like I said, if you create campaigns and let's say threshold number of sales, let's say you enter 4, right? So I'm telling ads, don't show me any suggestions for new keywords unless it's been 4 sales and below my ACoS target. You might not get a lot. You might need to be a little less aggressive here. For negative keywords, let's say you made this really low. Let's say you made this 4 as well. You're basically saying, hey, high. It's opposite. So let's say 20. You're saying to ads 20, if a search term gets 20 clicks and no sales, then make it a negative. Obviously 20 is higher. So if it was a lower number, you would see more negative suggestions. Threshold cost is the same. If you had a very high number here, let's say your product is 40 and you put in 40, you wouldn't get a negative suggestion out of that one until a search term actually spent the $40, which is the same price. So that's the primary reason why you wouldn't see suggestions. So I would suggest going into your settings for your campaigns that you built that are new, and then making sure that they're not actually too aggressive to the point that you're actually not getting suggestions out of them. Okay, next question we have is from Paul. Hey, Paul, would you be able to set 3 broad campaigns at once to save time as opposed to auto, broad, and exact? There'd be no flow, but we could feed them in later into smaller exact campaigns. No, you can put whatever you want in these groupings. So we don't have a way to check to make sure, like, for example, that this is an auto campaign. As you can see, I just clicked on a product targeting campaign and it opened up. Now, although we don't, the only reason we did this, because I just told you guys that we don't have product targeting campaigns capability in here, but sometimes people have, because it's based on ad groups, sometimes people have a keyword based ad group and a product targeting ad group in the same campaign. So this is to help those people, which they shouldn't be doing that because that's not best practice anyway. But as you can see, when I try to select an ad group, there's nothing to show. This particular campaign only has ASIN-based ad group, which we don't use. So, but if you've got 3 broad campaigns, meaning, so I would think that you would say you have a broad campaign with keywords, maybe with high volume, and then you have a broad campaign with keywords, maybe mid search volume, and a broad campaign with maybe lower volume. And then you want to like move the keywords down just to see what is actually working. Yeah, you can make all 3 of these campaigns broad. If you made all 3 of these campaigns exact, for example, then you wouldn't really get any suggestions because exact keywords don't really get any search terms. They're exact keywords. So that's why you do have to be careful. You want to put things in the flow that are actually going to generate suggestions. Generating suggestions means, does it get search terms? Auto campaigns obviously get search terms. That's all they get. But if you want to start with a broad keyword campaign here, those broad keywords are going to get search terms. So yeah, you can put that into a structure if you'd want. So yeah, let me know if you do that, Paul. That would be an interesting thing to see how that works out for you. All right. Hello from Israel. Well, hello to you. First, about 1 month into ads, I set auto for all my old campaigns, and I did see that as causing something bad in my sales. Should I transfer all demand? Yes. Don't turn on auto immediately. You guys, that's silly. Why would you do that? You need to see the suggestions that are coming through first to make sure that they're what you want, right? So the first thing, obviously, if you're brand new, make sure that your configuration settings are set correctly. So you can see right now, I'm not getting any keyword bid suggestions because for this particular account, the auto is on. But that's only because these accounts are super old and I've seen the performance and I know that I'm safe turning on the bids. And just as a refresher, this automate column, everyone, is just for bids. It says it right here. It says it when you hover over it. I still get asked questions what it's for. I don't know why. It's right here. Everything in ads has explanations. You guys, so make sure that you hover over things. If it has a question mark, especially, make sure you hover over that. That's going to give you a lot more detail. But I'm not getting keyword suggestions right now on this account because the automation is on. But no, I would not turn on automation until you've done a few things. One of them would be making sure that your configuration for all of the campaigns, when all your campaigns are first uploaded into ads, if you have existing campaigns you did not build in ads, your default ACoS is going to be 30% for keyword bids. As you can see here, I changed that. The default ACoS for this one's now 25%, right? So that means that ads is going to work towards the 25% ACoS goal versus the 30% a default. So that's one thing that you should do. You should set maximum bids. This one's really high, but if you guys have tighter budgets, you can say, hey, I never want to see a keyword suggestion for over $3, right? Over $2. Try to be careful there. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. But if you definitely know you have a threshold, put it in here. Ads will never show you that suggestion again, or it won't show you a bid suggestion. Very, very important here is the ignored keywords, which people often overlook. Put your ignored keywords in here. This is basically telling ads, I don't want to see keyword suggestions on these. I don't want to see new keyword or negative keyword suggestions on these. These are keywords that are, for this account, these are branded keywords. I know that I'm paying top dollar for my branded keywords all the time because I have a brand keyword campaign. Which is why I started earlier. I said, I definitely recommend having brand keyword campaign. You should know how your branded keywords are doing. So I know I don't need to see ads giving me suggestions on these. Your loss leaders, if you have campaigns in here that you have keywords in here that perform badly, but you still need to be seen for them, you don't want ads to shut them off or reduce the bid or make them negative, which is probably what happened here to your campaigns, to answer your question. So it's probably killing off your loss leaders. So yeah, definitely turn it off and check them manually. That's the one thing I would do, especially if they're 3 years old. You have a lot of data. So you should have gone through the analytics and the optimization to see how to optimize those campaigns in analytics first, then set up your suggestions. So apply settings here. If I did that, all these keywords are saved now, and ads knows that, hey, this is a terrible keyword. Crutch and crutches, it's a terrible keyword. It's high ACoS. It performs poorly, but I know I need to keep it because I don't just look at the ACoS just for this one campaign or the campaigns that might have these keywords. What you always have to look at what's your blended ACoS, right? So the keywords that are ignored in that one are from this one, which has a 60% ACoS, which is terrible, right? But I know I need to be seen for those keywords, so I don't need to see those being added as negative or reducing the bids, because it's my blended ACoS I'm most concerned with. 20%, that's really, really good, right? It doesn't matter that this one's 60%. Look at all the low ones here. So that's what you have to look at when you're doing things, when you're setting up your campaigns to then take advantage. Only after you've done all of this, then you turn on the automation for the bids. Or you can now also turn on the automation for the new keyword and negative keyword rules. Let's pretend I added some here, but this is the form now where you can add your turn on automation for your new keyword rules and for your negative keyword rules. So definitely, yes, turn off automation. Check the change log to see if I would definitely check to see, depending on how long you've had automation on. Ads goes back to 2 years, so you can definitely check that. But make sure you look for paused keywords. Make sure you look for bid changes where your kids' bids reduced. There might be some keywords in there that you don't necessarily want to have ads be working on, because you know historically what those keywords have done. So I hope that helps answer your question. Hello, hey from Finland. How's it going, Tony? Oh, let our audience know about your PPC tip of the week. Right. So in addition to these weekly Ask Me Anythings, I also do a bi-weekly. So every other week there is a PPC tips of the week that I release. They're literally 1 minute. I try to make them 1 minute long, so there's really little tiny bites of information that you can get for your education. Last week's, I think, was about Prime Day budgets, because it was Prime Day 2 weeks ago. Today there will be one that will come out, and it's about branded campaigns. You guys are actually good. This is good because you guys are hearing me talk about branded campaigns a lot. This is definitely something I think that you guys should do, especially before the holidays. So the PPC tip of the week, when it comes out at some point today, it might have already. Today's tip is about branded keyword campaigns. So every other week, especially as we're leading up to the holidays, I'm going to be giving out little tips that are important for preparing for the holidays. So, and it's live now. So that PPC tip is up, and I believe there's up to about 8 of them now. So you guys can see all the way back from 2 months ago, everything from covering ACoS targets, what's TACoS. So lots of good information in there. You guys should definitely check out. Lucy asks, we have products with few color variations as separate ad groups for each color. How can we use rules? Edit applies only to one ad group. So Lucy, right now, you can't. It's only one campaign and one ad group, but you can still pick the highest performing, pick the highest, the one that generates the most impressions or clicks, and use that. Just because you can only put in one rule per one ad group, that's better than none. Like, would you rather be doing all that manually, or would you like ads to be doing at least part of that work for you, right? We're going to be doing part of that work for you, just one campaign and one ad group at a time. Now, what I will say, depending on how this is working out for you, Lucy, having different color variations in separate ad groups isn't necessarily what I would consider best practices. Honestly, I would, if color's the only variation, I would put them all in one ad group and just see how the colors perform. And then right away, then based on the performance, you can then turn on and turn off products in that one ad group. So if you did it that way, which is considered best practice, then you could actually take advantage of these rules. So you might want to think about maybe looking at your data, looking about how they're performing, looking about an easier way to set it up, which would be to put all those color variations in one ad group and then running all the keywords and the search terms and using ads actually to do that for you on that campaign. Stan asks, in manual campaigns, can your system pause rather than negative out keywords? Yes, of course you can pause keywords. So click on a keyword. You can enable and pause any keyword that's in here. If you're talking about our suggestions, yes, we do have pause rules in our suggestions, but it's based on looking back, I believe, a minimum 30 days to see the performance of the keyword. So the goal is actually pausing the keyword is actually the last. It should really be the last thing that you do, unless it's in the exact keyword. Then it's not performing for you because the search term is the same, or it might be a plural of your exact keyword. But if it's a phrase or a broad keyword, the goal really should be to focus on the search terms, because it's the search terms that are causing the lift in spend and in sales. So we prefer to look at the search terms, Stan, and kind of weed out the search terms that are causing that keyword to be higher first, versus just turning off that keyword. So that's how our system runs. Kids Time asks, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. All the way from Pakistan. Wow, what time is it there? So nice you guys explaining. I really like it and following. That's awesome. I'm glad you're finding it helpful. Nisrat asks, should we go for auto campaign for new ASIN or manual targeting main 10 keywords? Both. That's why we have if you built your campaign in ads, you have to do an auto campaign. So we always suggest an auto campaign. Auto campaign is awesome for research. That's where you're going to get a lot of these search terms that a lot of the search terms that you just saw that I was on. Analytics level, search term level, this is basically every single search term in the entire account. And I can go back up to 2 years again. But a lot of these are from auto campaigns. So if you don't have auto campaigns, you don't know, you won't know what you don't know. Amazon, obviously, it's their algorithm. They have targeting parameters they're using for your auto campaigns to match shoppers to your product. They've got ASINs that they're using to show, which is what you see here. These ASINs are basically telling me that this product is being seen on different product listings, these particular product listings that are here. You get a lot of that from the auto campaign. So it helps you with that initial data set collection. And then you can trim it down. As long as you're on top of your negative keywords in your auto campaigns, then your auto campaigns should actually remain productive for you for quite a long time. So hope that answers your question. Jersey Shore Devil asks, Carlos, joining late, just got my restricted product approved. In your opinion, what is the best current PPC launch strategy? There are all types of launch strategies floating out there. What we try to do is just build so that at the bare minimum, you get the 3 campaigns that we suggest you do, which are, again, the auto research and proven campaign. So definitely would do this. I also would do, again, a brand keyword campaign, and I also do a product targeting campaigns, which you can build those in Seller Central, and they will be seen here in ads. So yeah, the best launch strategy, to be perfectly honest, is to be aggressive with your targets. Have a lot of budget, so expect to pay a lot, because you need to pay a lot to get the data up front. Set your ACoS targets to 100%. So you're making as much as you're losing. So you're not making any money on PPC, but that's okay. You don't have to make money on your PPC, especially when you launch. Your PPC is about data collection, and it's about branding. The more someone sees your ad, the more potentially they're going to see it down the line, which then leads to organic sales, which is the holy grail of Amazon. You want your sales to be found and picked up and bought organically. So PPC helps with that. So don't be so focused on making money on PPC. That's the number one mistake I see. This is your cost of doing business on Amazon. This is your marketing budget for Amazon. You shouldn't expect to make money out of the gate, at least, from your PPC. Use it for data collection. Be aggressive with your ACoS targets. That way you'll get a lot more information, a lot more data from ads. And then you can then whittle it down. Because again, what we try to focus on is our TACoS. which is your total sales, and which is your organic and PPC, divided by your PPC spend. Because again, we consider your PPC spend to affect your organic sales, so we're including those in the metrics. So when you do that, you're always going to get a lower you're always going to get a lower TACoS versus your ACoS. So that is the strategy that I would suggest. Tony asks, why I see keywords that are from paused campaigns as enabled while looking only keywords on ads? Should I also pause all keywords or ad groups from a paused campaign? Tony, you'd have to let me know where you're looking, because you would not see paused campaigns as enabled while looking at only keyword ads. So on this page, for example, I'm looking back, it looks like a month. I'm looking at 2 months. So this is a high level view. So on the dashboard page, this is very high level. This is just everything in this time frame. This is everything that happened during this time frame. These campaigns that are showing, it's just highest ACoS campaigns. This very high ACoS campaign is still going to show up because in this time frame, it's the highest ACoS campaign. It might be paused. This might be a paused campaign. It doesn't matter that it's paused. It was still the highest ACoS campaign during this time frame. That's what this is showing you. Highest spend keywords, same thing. These are very high, the highest spend, keywords during that time frame. You can see it's sorted by spend. This one's not, has a high ACoS. Again, it's that keyword I told you guys I have ignored because I always know it's a high ACoS, right? 60%. I don't want that ever paused. That's why it's in my ignored category. But let's say this was paused, hypothetically. It doesn't matter that this is paused. It's still going to show on this page because we're showing you all your data during this period. So you have to stop looking at your data sets based on, oh, is it paused or active or not? Where are you looking? Dashboard, there's 2 examples right here. Another thing I see users get confused on a lot is the product level. Maybe if this is where you're looking, Tony, the product level, this campaign, this account only has 1 product, but let's pretend there was a lot of products in here. This is a product level. So the status is enabled. It's about the product, right? So if I had multiple products in here and some of the products were paused, then it wouldn't show up here. But as long as a product is enabled, let's say you have 3 or 4 products in here, but 2 of the products in here that are actually enabled don't have campaigns. You don't have any PPC campaigns activated. Doesn't matter. Those products are still enabled, so they're still going to show on this page. So it really depends on where you're looking, Tony. That it might be that you're just looking at it from an incorrect lens. So follow up and let's see if we get to that. If we get to your question on it in the next 7 minutes. Paul asks, if I set up a brand new campaign in ads and delete the auto campaign straight away, will the rest of the flow still work? Example, broad to exact. Yeah, it will. But I mean, why would you do that? But yeah, technically you can. I would just, if you're going to do it that way, you might as well just create the campaigns in Seller Central and then create a campaign structure. Like Paul, like you were talking about, like, the auto campaign doesn't have, I don't know why you're so against auto campaigns, Paul. It's kind of weird. But if you don't want, just create the campaigns in Seller Central and then put them in a flow. That's the better way to do it versus doing it this way. Because to be perfectly honest, I need to check on that. I don't know if you're going to break anything. I know obviously that you won't have that auto campaign search term view to the next one, but does it interrupt the flow for the next one? I would need to double check on that one. So don't test that one. Build them in Seller Central if you don't want to do the auto campaign. Just pull them into the configuration. Kids Time asks, auto campaign would be better as compared to manual. Your suggestions are. Yeah, again, I always suggest auto campaigns. What you can do eventually, and this is actually a good account to look at. So you can see there's only one, because there's only one product. So there's only one auto campaign. So this auto campaign was started early 2019. So quite a long time ago, almost 2 years ago. So eventually I got all the data that I wanted out of this auto campaign. It's streamlined. It's all the negative keywords are added that I know need to be added. They get continually added. But instead of making this a research tool anymore, and maybe Paul, maybe this is what you should do with your auto campaigns, just make them low bid. just turn them into low bid auto campaigns. So you basically just, whatever the suggestion is, you cut it in half, and you're just making it a remnant kind of traffic, late at night kind of auto campaign where it's just picking up some remnant traffic. So I fully believe that auto campaigns can be useful. You just have to use them correctly over the course of your time on Amazon. At the beginning, definitely a must. Absolutely need them for research, because you're going to find search terms and ASINs that you might not have found otherwise. Get that data, whittle them down, right? And then if you don't want to keep whittling them down over time, turn it into a low bid auto campaign. So it's more fine tuned. It's not spending a lot, but it's not making a lot. You can see that this is 2 months. It has spent $400, but made $1,700 for a 22% ACoS. So that's what I would do is with your auto campaigns, is to update them over time. Your strategy should be changing over time from when you launch to when you're maybe doing a holiday push to maybe when you're doing, if you're liquidating a product, then you have to change your parameters for your campaigns. I don't believe in creating new campaigns. I would basically just change the parameters of the campaign. Paul says, "Don't worry, I'm not an auto campaign hater." Okay, good. So I hope that makes sense. Hope that answers maybe some of both of your questions about the auto campaigns and what you can do with those. All right, 3 minutes, guys. Miguel asks, "My question related to another HM product is why are my keywords going down in Cerebro when I'm..." Can't answer your question, Miguel. Sorry, this isn't a Cerebro session. This is for ads. Stan asks, "Do you suggest dynamic bids down only, up and down, or fixed?" This is exactly something we're going to go over in our session with Amazon, you guys, in approximately 12 minutes. They do cover this, the dynamic bids up and down. They've got some really good stats on the performance that they've seen from those. But initially, I would say down only for brand new campaigns. If it's a brand new campaign, definitely down only. Only when it's more established, which I actually just learned from Amazon. I'll share a little stat with you guys from the webinar that if you can't join in 12 minutes, which is on your screen right now, helium10.com/Amazon-holiday. That's our holiday webinar with Amazon. What they considered an established campaign to potentially use dynamic up and down or fixed is 50 sales a week. So if you got a campaign that's making at least 50 sales a week, test the dynamic. Again, 50 sales a week under or close to your ACoS goal, right? Not 50 sales a week at 100% ACoS, 50% or 50 sales under or close to your ACoS goal. Then maybe test out dynamic up and down. Up and down might be good, especially as the holidays are coming. It's going to be a lot more traffic, but it's going to be a lot more volatility, a lot more competition. So for those more established campaigns, you might want to try dynamic up and down. AJ asks, "How long would should run auto campaigns post-launch?" I kind of just went over this forever. I'm looking at the auto campaign right now. It's been on for 2 years. Just turn it into a low bid auto campaign once you've got all the data that you want out of it. Will you be talking about TACoS with Amazon? Yes, I will, Paul. Oh my God, you know me. You know how I'm trying to drill this into as many people as possible. Yes, we will be talking about TACoS because this is a metric that ads has. And we're really, as far as I know, we're still the only PPC platform that has those metrics. Now, this is completely dependent on you guys adding your MWS token and having profits activated. If you don't have your MWS token with Helium 10 and you don't have your profits tool activated, then you won't see your total sales in TACoS. So make sure you get that done. Okay, I did fully answer that question. Thank you so much for confirming that. I was I was wondering if that was the answer that you needed, or the question that you were asking, actually. So thank you so much, guys. Again, if you have questions here that I didn't get to, come back next week. We'd love to have you guys, ask those questions. If you stay on to the webinar, you might have more questions. And then you can come back next Tuesday at 10 o'clock and we can cover them there. So make sure you check out this webinar coming up in 9 minutes. The website is right there to sign up. There is no replay of this webinar. I know you guys are used to us doing replays of webinars. This is with Amazon, so they have more strict rules. There's no replay, and there's also no Q&A, which again is another reason why I do things like this, So after that webinar, we're going to go over a lot of stuff. You guys might have questions. Take notes. You will get the slides, our slides, but take notes anyways. And then if you have questions, write them up, save them, and we'll see you guys next week, Tuesday at 10. TACoS Tuesday. Thanks, guys.